This is one of the dogs that we've modified with our little Ardupilot autopilot backpack on top. So if I just turn the dog and the controller on, ultimately this has the DJI Air unit at the front, that little camera that I showed to begin with. That feeds into one of the Mateksys Ardupilot flight controllers, and that's then feeding into an ESP32 S3. And that itself is then going into the S.Bus port on the actual dog, and I'll show you that in a second. I swear it's not powered by diesel. There we go. So on the controller, I'm just going to have to reframe there. On one stick we've got the normal pose, up and down, then rotating left and right. And then on the other joystick we've got lateral movement, so actually moving forwards and backwards. And that's all feeding straight from the DJI Air unit into the flight controller. So if we actually show inside this little backpack now, let's pull out the connecting points. There we go. So no compute, no Raspberry Pis or anything midway. At the back, coming off the dog, is just the power and the S.Bus, except the S.Bus goes straight into the ESP32, and the power's going into a little buck converter just hidden underneath here. At the front, we've got a little fan blowing directly onto the air unit, because these older air units do get very hot, so we've had to cover it in thermal compound, both on top and the bottom, which it's kind of stuck itself in there, but you can hopefully see that. There we go. That's the air unit, and the little wiring going back from there, and the fan to help keep it cool. So if we show a bit further inside, this is the Mosaic RTK heading board that we wanted to use and tried for this. If we just take that off, underneath that is the actual flight controller. So there's the Mateksys. So the air unit's going into here, then the serials going from this flight controller, basically running as a rover. Serials going from that back to the ESP, and the ESP then on the software side is basically passing mavlink messages, and then it's turning that into the appropriate control signals for the S.Bus port to then operate the dog. And the actual RTK heading board actually works really nicely for this. One of the things that we found was that we've used rather large metal plates here, just because the amount of interference with the antenna signals that actually come from the actuators of the dog. So if you do want to replicate this or put your own RTK antenna onto a Go, just be careful. There's a lot of interference from the motors. There we go.